sun is sinking fast. My race is nearly run. My longest trial now is past. My victory has begun. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Oh, bear me away on your snow-white wings to my immortal home. Oh, bear me away on your snow-white wings to my immortal home. Have you heard this before? Let me see your hands if you've heard it. If you heard it, that's because you listened to the right music. Okay. I know I'm near the holy ranks of friends and loved ones dear. I hear the waves on Jordan's banks. My crossing must be near. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Oh, bear me away on your snow-white wings to my immortal home. Oh, bear me away on your snow-white wings to my immortal home. Oh, bear my wandering heart to him who bled and died for me, whose love now covers all my sin and gives me victory. Oh, come, angel band, come and around me stand. Oh, bear me away on your snow-white wings to my immortal home. Oh, bear me away on your snow-white wings to my immortal home. Thanks. Alrighty, let's open our Bibles to the 136th Psalm, Psalm 136. I love the old music. I just can't get enough of it, and I can't get away from it. And who would have thought in 1965 when I was ODing on the Beatles and doing all that rock and roll garage band stuff, that I'd end up singing this hokey hillbilly stuff. But I do. I love it. I guess I grew up and matured, learned the good music, the kind of music we're singing in heaven. That's right. You been out to Lake Orion lately? Probably went out to Sagebrush for a Mexican pizza, or maybe to Anita's Kitchen for some Mediterranean food. Maybe you've been out driving along Indian Wood Road, driving by the old historic golf course there, and all of that. But I want you to know what was there before all that stuff was there. On Bellevue Island, as it was called, in the middle of Lake Orion, there was a conference center. They had Bible conferences in that place. This brochure is from August 3 through 9, 1903, 120 years ago. And there's pictures of little old ladies. Well, they're probably 35, but they look like little old ladies in their long black dresses and all of that. They had Bible conferences out there. People came from all over the world, from Oxford, England, from out west. I mean, they came from everywhere for these Bible conferences in Lake Orion, and all of it was great. Myron, by the way, you'll love this. The speaker, one of the speakers in 1927. Not that you knew him personally or anything, but W.H. Griffith Thomas. Yeah, great Bible. They had, the best were coming for these. I'll leave these here if you'd like to look at them. Leave them, please. Don't take them with you. But they're pretty cool. What I loved most about that conference is that I found also an old hymnal they used and the old songs that they sang. So long ago on that old island when it was just a little resort town, the Great Lake Orion. Those dear folks stayed in the Grace cabins, Grace cottages that were there on the islands. And every night they would sing these old hymns. And when I look at those old songs, they ring so true with what we believe. Those ancient songs, I love the new stuff, but I love the old stuff. I tell the older people in church, listen, we got to do some other kind of music. We just can't do all this old stuff. But I tell all of us old people, listen, these kids need some things that they're used to hearing. So we need to give something that rings and helps them too. So you've got to have a balance. That instead of having worship wars in a church, we need to bring in all the music so that we can all appreciate it. Well, this song that we're about to read was first read 3,000 years ago. It was written by King David, who wrote it for a very special occasion. In his heart, he has always wanted to build the Lord's temple in Jerusalem. He wanted to build what he called a dwelling place. And of course, the Lord fills all of heaven and earth and beyond, and he doesn't need it, but it was in David's heart to do it. And so David didn't get to build it, but he had his son Solomon build it. And he wrote this song for the dedication of this temple. And this thing has been sung throughout all generations. In the 4th century in Alexandria, when the Syrians were attacking the cathedral, the bishop of that great town calmly sat in the church with all of his people and had the deacon read Psalm 136. It's been a comfort to God's people for all these years. And it's in a cadence. You can understand it, but the old priest sang it first 30 centuries ago. Are you kidding me? You know how old that is? My brother and his wife Yitzka, when they first came back from Switzerland to here, I drove them through Clarkston. There's a sign, Clarkston, 1832. She said, Tommy, our farmhouse is 400 years old. And I said, never mind. I didn't have a perspective of what old was. This is from antiquity. Let me read this to you. Psalm 136. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. His love endures forever. To him who alone does great wonders. His love endures forever. Who by his understanding made the heavens. His love endures forever. Who spread out the earth upon the waters. His love endures forever. Who made the great lights. His love endures forever. The sun to govern the day. His love endures forever. The moon and stars govern the night. His love endures forever. To him who struck down the firstborn of Egypt. His love endures forever. Brought Israel out from among them. His love endures forever. With a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. His love endures forever. In him who divided the Red Sea asunder. His love endures forever. And brought Israel through the midst of it. His love endures forever. But swept Pharaoh and his army into the sea. His love endures forever. To him who led his people through the desert. His love endures forever. Who struck down the great kings. His love endures forever. And killed mighty kings. His love endures forever. Shion, king of the Amorites. His love endures forever. And Og, king of Bashan. His love endures forever. And gave their land as an inheritance. His love endures forever. An inheritance to the servant of Israel. His love endures forever. To the one who remembered us in our low estate. His love endures forever. And frees us from our enemies. His love endures forever. Who gives food to every creature. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of heaven. His love endures forever. Man, what a song. What a song. When Debbie and I were getting married, Aunt Bev was very proud of what she had bought us. And Aunt Bev can never keep a secret. She's gone to glory now, and we miss Aunt Bev. She was a hoot. You never knew what she was going to pull off next. But when she was buying us our wedding gift, she said, look, Tom, don't tell Debbie, but I bought you guys a blender. Not one of those plastic ones, but a really good one. Oh, it's going to be great, but don't tell Debbie. And she went to Debbie and said, Debbie, don't tell Tom. But I can't stand that I bought you a blender. Oh, and it's really good. Not that plastic stuff they're coming out with. 1975, right? Yeah. It just occurred to me my 49th wedding anniversary is coming up. Wow. Hey, it really was a good blender. We're still using it 49 years later. You can put anything in there. The weird stuff Debbie has put in that blender and pushed the button and it came out beautiful. It's amazing to me. Now listen. This is God's blender. He took the history of who he is, what he made, how he intervened, and also how he sustained all of that stuff, all the details of Israel's life, and he put it in a blender. And you know how it came out? His love endures forever, blown away by what God had done for them. Now listen, we're all going through stuff. I say that every week. Life is not easy. It's not for sissies. But I'm telling you, it's time for each one of us to take the blessings that God has poured into our lives, even in the midst of our heartaches, and put it all in God's blender and see how beautiful his love is for us. You know, it gets scary. I told you about my buddy. First time he took his little daughter to Cedar Point. My buddy was telling me the first time he ever took his little daughter, who's now a mother of two, to Cedar Point, she was 3. And he put her on one of those little dinky kiddie rides. Nothing to it, right? He put her on it. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And then the thing started. And she had this look on her face. And he saw that she was about to explode into tears, right? And so we got around where she'd come around this corner out of this little cave. When she came out, he'd be there. Woohoo! Are we having fun or what? Oh, you're doing great. And she'd like, okay, and then she started getting scared again, and when she came out the tunnel, woohoo, girl, you are doing it. Look at you. I'm right here. I'm right here. This thing kept going, and he kept encouraging her. Now, with life, you're on life's wild ride, right? But God around every corner says, woohoo, I got this. Don't worry. You're all right. Ride's going to be fine. You're not going to be hurt. You're going to make it. It's okay. And this is what this is about, this wonderful old song. And what it's about is not letting your present circumstances dictate your attitude and your demeanor and your emotions right now. But if you get the long view of what God has done in your life, oh, it blends it together and it comes out with the same conclusion. Let's look at him. Look at this. First of all, who he is. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Come on, man. I mean, has he been good to you or what? Isn't it easy to forget that? His whole intention toward you is good. Goodness. I was so honored to have Lloyd Hampton as my father. You want to know why? Because his one motivation in life was to love Margie and those 3 crazy boys. To love them and to work for them and help them. And he'd work 2, 3 jobs just to make it all work. Just to take care of us. I didn't have to worry about food. I didn't have to worry about care because Lloyd Hampton would bust it every day doing whatever he had to. I remember when he went into Oakland County government, he said to me, Tom, it's like I've retired. Man, these government employees, this is really easy. He was great. It was like he was semi-retired, did a great job as a director at Oakland County, but I never had to worry about him because of his ethic. His basic ethic was he was a good man and he was a hard worker who loved us. I could relax. He was tough. Woo, woo, woo. I got stories, okay, about how tough he was. But he was good. God is, infinite beyond that in his goodness to us. He's the God of gods. He's the Lord of lords, it tells us in verse 2 and 3. And he alone does great wonders. The Lord himself is the one who has all authority. Okay, so what is he doing in your life? I'll tell you one thing. He is good and he is absolutely all-powerful in all things. Nothing can touch you that hasn't come through a nail-scarred hand. If something difficult comes to you, it's difficult, but I want to tell you, it's a mercy from Him because He only allows it because it's going to do something for you. It's going to develop you into the person that you're supposed to be. It's going to give you understanding so you can love and help others who have gone through the same thing. It's all a gift, even the difficult stuff. All of it. He won't waste any of it. We can relax because we know who He is. What a gift. Jesus said to His disciples, blessed are your eyes. Blessed are your ears because you see this and you hear this. What a gift of gifts to know who He is. Second of all, look what He made. And it basically says, of course, in verses 5 to 9, that He created the earth, He created the heavens, the earth, and all of it. He created all things. And what I want to say is this. He created reality. He created the real world. This is not an imagination. No matter what the cults say, they try to say that all this is an illusion. That is not an illusion, people. That's solid oak right there, okay? This world is real. He created the real world. You probably don't appreciate him, but I did. I loved Rush Limbaugh, you know. He used to say, okay, listen, I am the mayor of Realville, okay? He used to say that all the time. I love that. I love that because God is the creator of Realville. He created reality, and we have people now telling us to live in certain ways. Oh, just throw all that old stuff off. Just throw all those old morals away. You know, become who you might be. I'm telling you that doesn't work because God created a reality that we have to live within His reality. There are certain things that don't work. And when He tells us to do one thing and we do the opposite, it's going to hurt us. Oh, man. You know, I mean, it was the English poets were the first that came up with the idea of free love that all of us hippies discovered in the 60s, okay? It didn't work then for them. I mean, it's crazy the way they lived. It's crazy the way the Free Love Society lived. And it's crazy sexually. It's absolutely insane in our world. And I want to tell you, God created this world, and it's a real world, and we have to live according to His dictates, or you'll be broken. My friend CJ, he was a mess. He was tall, he was skinny, he had brushed his teeth in 1972, and combed his hair in 86, I think. That was the last time. He was a lovely picture. He's gone now. But he had this place in Wolverine, Michigan. And the guy was so unhandy. I mean, some of us can do a few things, right? Some of you guys are super handy. You know, you can do anything, right? CJ, he couldn't do anything. And that guy would use everything the wrong way. He used a toilet seat around his head where the lid would flip up and he could put his dinner on it in front of the television and eat it. I remember going to his house and say, CJ, I don't think that's what that was made for, okay? Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, there was nothing on the sides, and he tipped a little, and bam, there went his dinner. I have known some freaks in my life, and CJ was one of them. Laugh, I mean, whew. But listen, God created the real world, and we must live within the way He has given us instructions to live in reality, or reality will break you. Ever try using a tool the wrong way? I am the master of that. I have a half-inch ratchet, Craftsman ratchet, and they wouldn't replace it for me. Remember in Sears you could take them back? They wouldn't replace it. And the guy said, come on, mister, you used that as a hammer, didn't you? And I said, yeah. I still got it. It's just to remember. You got to use things the way they were designed to be used. God created reality. And we have to live within it. I have friends that disagree with me. They're still my friends, and I love them. But every now and then, I'll say to them, so hey, that crazy idea you had, how's that working out for you? Some guy that thought he could be married and yet be with any woman he wanted. How did that work for you, pal? That was a real genius move on your part, you idiot. Yes, men talk like that. Girls, please don't be offended by my language with that. That's how guys talk. It's a love language, okay? It's a love. Yeah, what does Frank Barone used to say? You're dumber than I tell people. That's what he used to say. But you just want to say every now and then, so how's that working? You can't live opposite of God's reality. And he created the real world. Why do you think in the Bible, just after Jesus had died for us, been raised from the dead, stayed here for 40 days, talking and being with people, turned the world upside down, and then was ascended into heaven to the right hand of God the Father? And the believers started preaching across Jerusalem about Jesus. And you know what they started calling it? The way. Guys, this is the way. Do you want a healthy, happy, fulfilling life that matters? Live the way. It's so important. Okay, who he is makes all the difference for us. What he has created, reality, he created it. Second of all, he intervened. They would remember how he loved and protected them. And that's what David does in this old song. He gives them a history of being freed from Egypt, how they were slaves for 400 years in Egypt, and how God, by a strong arm, brought them out and destroyed the army, the most powerful army on earth at the moment. You think the Egyptians were backward and strange? They are so far beyond us in their society. What they did. Look at the pyramids. That's without electricity, people. I mean, that's amazing. Without helicopters and cranes, without computers and architects, they did all that. Absolutely amazing to me. Well, they had architects, I guess. But anyhow, all the other stuff, they didn't. He intervened. And yet today, in our world, what are we doing? We are tearing down our history. We're tearing down statues of good men who fought valiantly because they lived back then according to the society back then. And because America had the shame of slavery, we think we have to wipe all that out. No, 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 no. You remember the quote from Edward Burke. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Leave it all in place. Don't you touch anything. I always feel terrible about what the reformers did during the Reformation to the Catholic Church. Now, I believe in what they believe. I stand in the Reformed history as a theologian, as a pastor. But they went into the Catholic churches and destroyed the art, the statues. Those were incredible works of art. What are you doing? My brother, when he was pastoring in Harryzow, his church was built in 900 and went through the Reformation. And it's incredible, but it's cold and ugly because they destroyed all the artwork back then. Isn't that interesting? We're talking about them pulling down statues, but think of what we did as Christians. Well, they did, but us, they're our family. Anyhow, it wasn't a good idea. History is history, and it needs to stand. They want to have no memory of what's come before us so they can tell us what reality is. But there is this interesting thing. There's this statement in Psalm 145. Can I give you this? Psalm 145, verse 4. One generation commends your works to another. They tell of your mighty acts. That's the job of us as Christians, is to make sure that our kids know the history of God and the history of our family. The Hampton family has a rich history. I have a picture of my great-grandfather. And great-grandpa Hampton was in a rest home, but he still had his Bible open and he was teaching the Bible every couple of days there in the rest home. Lived to be almost 100. But what God has done in the Hampton family is, into the Price family, my mother's side, it's incredible. We need to know our histories. We need to know the history of our nation and of our world. We need to know it because God has done incredible things, and we need to pass those things on to our children. That's what Deuteronomy chapter 6 is all about. And how they remember it is, the Jewish people, when God would do something great, they would put up pillars. There are pillars that are ancient on each side of the Red Sea. Do you know that? Everything has been worn off them over these thousands of years. but they both stand directly across the Red Sea from one another. They were set up by the Jewish people when they crossed the Red Sea. There are specially memorial piles of rocks. You wonder where the piles of rocks came from? From the bottom of the Jordan River when God dried it up so that 3 million people could cross the Jordan River into the promised land. And the Lord told Moses, have the big guys, one guy from each tribe, grab a big stone and put him in a pile. And when your children ask you, what does this mean? You tell them the Lord dried up the Jordan River for us to enter into the promised land. You tell them. I tell you, we've got so much history that we need to cling to. And they did it. And what that causes is something beautiful in them. There's a quote, the prophet Habakkuk. There's somebody you've probably never read. Read his prophecy. It's very, very interesting. But when he heard the things of the Lord, he prayed this. Lord, I have heard of your fame. I stand in awe of your deeds, they had told him. Lord, repeat them in our day. In our time, make them known. We thought in the 1960s that it was over, kind of a moment like this one. You know what happened? The Jesus movement. God brought millions of kids into the kingdom of God. These old hippies came in from all over the place into the churches and became our leaders and some of the great men and women of God that we know now as grandparents and great-grandparents. When we hear the stories of what God has done, what it does in our hearts is this. We cry out, do it again. Lord, do. Everybody's saying, oh, it's over. Oh, forget it. This is the most important election in all time. And yeah, it's pretty darn important, but I'm going to tell you something. There is no political answer to this broken world or our broken nation. There is only one way, and it's through God granting people repentance, that we see what we're doing is wrong and we turn to the living God. That's what changes hearts. That's what changes minds. Not trying to beat people over the head with your political stuff. Hey, politics are important. Fighting for the culture is important. I'm going to be on the front lines of that too. I'm very interested in helping a particular candidate that's running for our local county supervisor. Very, very interested in helping in that campaign as a citizen. I don't mean to poo-poo the political. It's very important, but it's down the list, people. They remembered what he did, and it was absolutely, absolutely amazing who he was, what he did, and how he intervened. He's the God who sustains now. Verse 23, to the one who remembers us in our low estate. Verse 24, and frees us from our enemies. And verse 25, who gives food to every creature. The psalmist said, Lord, you open your hand and feed every creature. What a beautiful statement that is. Since all that's true, we need to start living the pattern that these old folks gave us in this inspired piece of Scripture, which is all Scripture. But in this piece, in this song, they would remember what God had done for them in a brief statement, and they would read the conclusion. His love endures forever. What are you going through right now? His love endures forever. You think he's left you behind? His love endures forever. You think you've sinned too big for too long to ever be able to get out of that? His love endures forever. The other morning I was out walking Pickles the Wonder Dog, and Pickles actually scared a young lady that came into my office with her dad last night. It was great. It's the first time she ever scared anybody. She's really scary. Really scary. And this little girl was, oh, I'm afraid of dogs. I said, oh, honey, you do not have to be afraid of this one, okay? I was walking Pickles the Wonder Dog the other morning, and I started thinking of things. Lord, thank you for knowing me. You knew me before Margie was pregnant. Your love endures forever. Thank you for letting those two kids love each other that much. Your love endures forever. Thank you for protecting me through all of my stupid teen years and the crazy things that I did. Your love endures forever. Thank you for guiding my life. Your love endures forever. Thank you for a sweet girl at 16 years old who loved me and has now loved me for 54 years. Your love endures forever. I recommend that you do that because his love does endure in every way. I was reminded by something wonderful. Jan gave me Reckenwald gave me a book of just stories from their life, what God has done in their life. That is beautiful, Jan, what you guys have lived out. And she was telling me that there was, in a time where they had had a misunderstanding with another couple, and their friendship was destroyed. And one Sunday, they both families happened to be at the same church that neither of them had ever visited before. And they were sitting across the aisle from each other because his love endures forever. And he opened all the hearts because his love endured forever. And they forgave one another because his love endures forever. Try that. And by the way, this whole thing of God's love enduring forever, the word forever is a really cool descriptive Hebrew term. Does anybody here read Hebrew? Forever means you look back and you can't see where it started. And you look ahead and you can't see where it ever ends. It's a looking in both directions. An endlessness. An eternity. How long is he going to love you? You have come to him through his shed blood of his son, Jesus. He will never reject you. He will never throw you away because his love endures forever. Okay, one song. Our closing song is going to be this one. We have a video. I appreciate everything Craig and Sally do, but I heard CeCe Winans sing this song. Come on. This is unbelievable.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire and in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. Hey! 'Cause all my life you have been faithful. Oh yes you have. And all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your
Let's pray. Father, thank you, your goodness to us, your mercy, your loving mercy endures forever. We remember you today, and we are sorry for forgetting. Would you help us in this moment in our life to remember your incredible kindness and how that's never going to end? So we face our struggles of today, putting all this other truth into the midst of the struggle. Blend it together and help us as we face these days. May we be faithful to you and to our families and to the reality that you have created. Bless everybody here. And Father, one other thing. I'm sure there's some standing here with me that haven't opened their heart to you yet. And they're missing out on so much because you are true. You are alive from the dead, and you offer life to anybody who will believe. No cleaning it up, no fixing it, just bringing the whole load of our sin to you and dumping it at your feet and trusting you. Jesus, invade the lives of my friends who haven't decided yet. Help them to simply turn to you and say, Jesus, I'm a sinner and I need you. Be my Savior. I give my life to you. Thank you for our time together here today, Lord. Encourage your people in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you all. Thanks for coming. Thank you for listening. If you would like to support Community Bible Church, we would appreciate your prayers and gifts. We can be reached at Community Bible Church, 1888 Crescent Lake Road, Waterford, Michigan, 48327, or at our website, www.cbcmi.com. We'd appreciate your gifts. We know that many can't give right now, so if you would, you'd be a great blessing to your brothers and sisters. God bless you. Have a great day.